Alrighty, folks, we are going to look at solving some triangles here, like we were talking about today in class. And there's two different scenarios you're going to find yourself in when you do the homework in class tomorrow and today, is where you are either trying to find a side or find an angle. And there's a couple of differences that are pretty easy to recognize. First of all, when you're trying to find a side, well, duh, the thing that you're missing is a side length, not an angle. Okay, that's one. But also you are given an angle, and you're going to use that uh, in your calculation. For finding an angle, that's when you're trying to find the angle, so you have to you're be given two sides. So in order to find an angle, you need to have two sides. In order to find a side, you need to have an angle and at least one other side. So there's basically three pieces of information for all of these problems, and you have to have at least two of them. Okay, and so to set up the ratio, again, is looking at what pieces of the puzzle do you have: opposite side, adjacent side, hypotenuse, or an angle. So for the one on the left here, trying to find a side, I'm going to use sine, cosine, or tangent because I'm trying to find a side, not the inverse, but just plain old sine, cosine, or tangent. Okay, so I'm trying to find x, which relative to 83 degrees is the opposite side to that, and I have 4, which is the adjacent side. So I'm trying to find the opposite. I know the adjacent, so then that's going to be tangent, okay, just from that SOHCAHTOA thing. So here's what it looks like here. Okay, tan of 83 equals x over 4. So tan of 83 degrees equals x over 4. Sorry, would I say something different? Anyways. Okay, and you're just going to do the tan 83 on your calculator and then multiply both sides by 4. Nice and easy. With the finding the angle, we're going to use inverse sine, inverse cosine, or inverse tangent. And again, you're going to look at what pieces of the puzzle you have. And in particular, we have here a 7 and a 6. The 7 is the opposite side, and the adjacent side is 6. Okay. Notice in both these examples, we did not use a hypotenuse, which is why I'm not using sine or cosine. I'm just using opposite and adjacent, so that's just going to be tangent, because that's what opposite and adjacent is. But instead of writing tangent of an angle, well, I could write it out this way. I could do tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Okay, but in order to calculate it, I'm going to switch the theta and the 7 over 6, which is why I make this into inverse tan of 7 over 6, and that equals theta. All right, and so theta then is just on your calculator the inverse tan of 7 over 6. Okay, and so all the problems we're looking at right now then are just going to be of that variety where you are either finding a side or finding an angle using either sine, cosine, or tangent, or their inverse if you're trying to find the angle, and that's it. So have a look at this next problem here. And just like the problem we did today in class, what I want you to do is I want you to use trigonometry, sine, cosine, or tangent, to first of all find theta. And remember that because I'm trying to find an angle, I'm actually going to use inverse sine, inverse cosine, or inverse tangent. Okay? And once you've done that, again, use trigonometry and find the value of x. And because I'm trying to find a side length, I'm going to use either sine, cosine, or tangent, just the regular version, not the inverse version. Okay? So bring this problem solved using trigonometry to tomorrow's class, and you, my friends, will get 5 marks and maybe even a gold star. Okay, so we'll see you all tomorrow.